Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this very historic moment for not just Bradley Engel, but for Multnomah County. My name is Honor Jackson. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm proud to serve as the board chair for Bradley Engel. We were the first domestic violence shelter here on the West Coast, and we opened our doors 51 years ago to welcome those who needed safety from violence they were experiencing in their homes. Over the past 5 decades, we have adapted to the needs of our community and the survivors we serve. Leading the continuum in establishing empowerment programs and expanding our ability to house survivors safely and creating culturally specific programs and services for Black and African American and LGBTQ+ survivors and their children. We're rooted here in Portland, rooted in Multnomah County, and rooted in our mission to serve all people affected by domestic violence. We do this by placing people experiencing or at risk of domestic violence at the center of our services, and by providing safety, education, empowerment, healing, and hope. This shelter expansion represents not just numbers on a report and not just beds in a room, but it is our commitment to ensuring survivors who need safety and hope have somewhere to turn, somewhere to stabilize, and somewhere to heal, and somewhere to receive 24/7 support and wraparound services. This expansion is a love letter to our community, and we're so proud to be sharing it with you all today. This wouldn't be possible without our enduring partnership with Multnomah County, and we're honored to be joined by a champion for those most vulnerable in our community and a leader who has seen our vision for expansion and growth. Please join me in welcoming Multnomah County Commissioner Chair Jessica Vega Peterson.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Honor. It's a pleasure to be here. Good morning, everyone. I'm Jessica Vega Peterson, Multnomah County Chair. I am so excited to be here with you today to commemorate the completion of the Lavender Shelter Project. Multnomah County is a proud partner and funder of this expansion, and with good reason. For over 50 years, Bradley Engel House has been providing safety, empowerment, healing, and hope to our community. Their work is indispensable to the success of the domestic violence shelter system as a whole, with a model that is producing incredibly successful results, with 92% of participants exiting to safe and stable housing. They have achieved this success by placing the wisdom and expertise of those with lived experience at the heart of the work, including our BIPOC families and survivors. We know that domestic violence thrives in isolation and secrecy. When I was growing up, there was silence around the issues, and I saw that. I witnessed it. You often knew who was having trouble and who was in danger, but those things were discussed behind closed doors or not at all. I am hopeful that in this culturally specific space, our friends, our families, our neighbors will find not just services, but companionship, understanding, and solidarity. Because, as the late Bell Hooks said, rarely, if ever, are any of us healed in isolation. Healing is an act of communion. Initiatives like the Lavender Shelter Project remind survivors that they are not alone. And through our collective partnership, we're helping to build a stronger, safer, and more accountable community. Thank you to the Bradley Engel team for your incredible work and dedication. Thank you to the Domestic and Sexual Violence team at the county's Homeless Services Department who supported this critical expansion of shelter in the DSV system. In particular, I am grateful to Maria Alvarez Lugo for their work. A 50% increase in capacity does not come without unique challenges, and Maria showed a lot of leadership and quick problem solving to ensure that these critical beds were brought online in an expedited fashion. I would also like to thank the shelter development team at the Homeless Services Department for their work to ensure that the location of the shelter is confidential and that the facilities have the necessary security protections in place for this deeply vulnerable population. Thank you also to Peter Tiso for your stewardship of this project and close partnership with Bradley Engel to ensure that their needs are met to provide these services in Multnomah County. Lastly, thank you to the survivors who are here with us today and in our community for your courage and fortitude, and to the families and supporters who walk alongside survivors with solidarity. Thank you very much. I also want to acknowledge Anna Plum, who is the interim director of our Homeless Services Department, for all of her work and leadership as well. Thank you.
you, Chair Vega Peterson. Thank you to all of us for joining us today. My name's Margot Martin. My pronouns are she, her, and I serve as the CEO at Bradley Engel. And we are so proud to have county partners, longtime supporters, representatives from partner agencies, and Bradley Engel staff and board members here to celebrate this moment. I want to talk a little bit about what makes the domestic violence shelter system unique and effective. We are one of only 3 organizations that provides confidential shelter for domestic and sexual violence survivors and their children in Multnomah County. Our spaces are confidential, safe, individualized, and set up for a variety of family structures. Our model creates a 90-day stay for participants that includes access to what each individual survivor or their family needs. Sometimes that's something as simple as meals or hygiene products, and other times we're side by side with them, helping them navigate systems like opening new bank accounts, accessing their identification paperwork, working through custody disputes, addressing debt caused by their abuser, or most often and always, letting them know that no matter what, they're not alone. Our shelters have accommodations ranging from single, secure rooms to larger spaces that include multiple bedrooms and full kitchens for larger families. Because of this individualized care, 92% of all people staying in our shelters exit into safe and stable housing. We know the fundamental barriers for so many folks experiencing homelessness, and we collaboratively work to address those needs. Honor mentioned our culturally specific programs, and I want to highlight those. We are the only standalone domestic violence agency in the state of Oregon to offer culturally specific services for Black and African American survivors and their children, as well as LGBTQ+ survivors. Prior to today, these programs did not intentionally include our shelter. It was our staff working in shelter, the folks supporting survivors every single day, that brought up this discrepancy with a single question. Why do we have so many other culturally specific services, but nothing official in our shelters when most of our participants identify as BIPOC? With the opening of this new space, our original shelter location will welcome BIPOC survivors of domestic violence and their children, the first of its kind in Multnomah County. This shelter will be a space of trust, healing, and authentic safety through cultural identity and community identity. And it's time to get to what we're all here for. Cutting the ribbon today will be Programs and Services Director Tiffany Thomas-Geis and our Shelter Facilities Manager, Fashayla West. Between the two of them, they have nearly 20 years of experience working at Bradley Engel. Their dedication to survivors, creativity in supporting families, and leadership in their roles have contributed to the organization we are today. We dedicate this ribbon cutting to them and all of our staff, as well as every survivor out there, because we all deserve to feel safe at home. Doing great, Charles? Oh, yeah. It was great, right? Nice work, nice with the podium, okay?
No cutting until